Colin, if you could just sort of give me your name, what the regiment you served in, and how long you were in the armed forces for.
Yeah. Colin Parker, and born 24/2/1943, brought up and in Hull. One of three children. We lost one of the children when he was evacuated to West Yorkshire during the war. He drowned, and I was brought up on the docks road in Hull, and we just carried on from there. How far do you want me to go with the initial bit?
You know, that's fine. That's
okay.
Fine,
yeah.
And when did you? How old were you when you joined up? And what made you join up? I mean, was it?
I've always wanted to be in the forces, always. And junior leaders or something like that was always in my mind from being a small child. My brother was in Korea and my father was in the army during the war. And it really wasn't them who sort of influenced me, but I was always infatuated with the regiments and what have you, and especially the Guards. I used to watch the Trooper of the Colour religiously every year with my father. I used to sit on the floor, and when we got the television in the early days, I just couldn't believe the spectacle of what it was like, and really I got to courting my wife in 1958, and I was 15, 16. So I thought, well, there's no way I'm going to be going into the forces now. My career's going to go a different way. Although I wasn't qualified in anything. I worked on the fish docks, I worked on the railways, I worked later on in the foundry, in a foundry in Hull. And I went to Butlins one summer, and I thought, this is no life for me, going back to that foundry and slaving my guts out week on nights, a week on days. And I was only sort of 18. So I thought, well, we was walking around Hull city centre one Saturday afternoon, and I saw the Army Careers office. And I thought, I'm just going to pop in there. I just said to my wife, I'm just popping in there to get some information. Well, 3 hours later, I had to come out and tell her that I wasn't coming home that day, or I would be, but it'd be very late. And I even went for a medical on the afternoon down Hesle Road where I lived, and this was a Saturday afternoon, and I had a medical, and I was walking through the Guards depot at Purbright a week later. There must have been hard up, that's all I can say. And that was it. I made my own way down there, and I don't think I'd been to London before, but only with school to watch the rugby league. So I was on my own, and I walked through the Guards depot, and my first view of the Guards depot was this 7-foot giant with boots on that you could comb your hair in and what have you, and he was very nice. He was very polite to me. I thought, oh, this is not so bad. He just told me where to go in so many words, and I went and got my bearings, and I got told where I could go and sleep. And that first couple of nights we slept on the floor. I slept on the floor because there was that many new recruits. They had nowhere to billet them, and really that was the beginning of the training, which was what we call Z weeks. In the Guards, at the Guards depot, you had Z weeks, and the weeks for cleaning your kit, learning how to clean your kit, doing regimental history, and knowing your history of the regiment inside out. And on shining parades, which were every night at 6 o'clock till 7 o'clock, we would sit on our bed and clean our boots and polish our belts and God knows what, religiously, without speaking. You couldn't speak, and if you needed to go to the toilet, you had to ask the trained soldier, who was a trained guy who had gone to the regiment and come back to look after the new recruits, if it was okay to leave the room to go to the toilet. This was 19 years old, and the superintendent sergeant would come in at some stage during that hour, and he would walk around the room I think there's about 30 in our room, and he would be asking us individually regimental questions. When was the regiment formed? Who was the first colonel-in-chief? Blah, blah, blah. And it's amazing. You had to know all this. Over the weeks you were doing your training. You was up at 6 in the morning, going for your runs, drill, coming back, weapon training. There was no time from getting up in the morning till going to bed at 10 o'clock. If your kit wasn't cleaned at 10 o'clock, you was in the toilet, although you wasn't allowed to go to the toilet to clean your kit. But your lights would go out, and then when it got quiet, you'd sneak out and clean the rest of your kit in the toilet. So the next morning, it was okay, and you didn't get stopped, as we called it. If you got stopped, you got restriction of privileges, which meant you had to do extra fatigues, i.e. go to the cookhouse, peel potatoes, get rid of the rubbish, go around the square, which is an enormous thing, picking up leaves, cleaning the toilets, you name it, you had to do it. But this was as well as cleaning your kit. This was in 1960, late 61, and it was coming up to Christmas, and we hadn't been what you call back squadded. If we had, every so many weeks you had an examination on the square and in the room about regimental history, and if you all passed, then you went on to your next week's training, i.e. 3 weeks, and then you would have an examination, and then you would go on again. Anyway, we went right through. We did 17 weeks plus our Z weeks, and we went to our regiment, which was stationed then in Chelsea, Chelsea Barracks. And from then on, we was doing public duties in London, marching from Chelsea Barracks up Buckingham Palace Road to Buck Palace, going on guard there for 24 hours or 48 hours, it depending on what manpower we had. St James's Palace, the Bank of England, and the guards used to guard the Bank of England in those days. They used to go down in trucks and go down into the vaults and guard the Bank of England with live ammunition. I don't know. I mean, it's more dangerous now, but I don't know what they was thinking. I was going to go into the Bank of England and rob the Bank of England in those days, I'm sure.